Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the second season of Off the Record podcast. How is everybody doing? I am so glad to be here, loud, live, and in color with you guys today. Thank you guys for joining me now over at YouTube. This is a new home, new energy, new space for us and you guys to join me and let's love and grow together. I'm super excited to have you guys join me over here. If you are new to this podcast is me. I hold it down by myself, all alone, but I share so much about my life, my journey, personal experiences in the hopes that everybody watching and listening grows, learns, and ultimately learns about themselves, loves themselves, and walks away with this with some just good nuggets and a good laugh maybe and a good chuckle and a good ha-ha here and there, and just knowing more about themselves really. So if you didn't know, like I said, if you are new to this podcast, we did do our first season. It was audio only. So if you do want to go back and listen before watching this video, you can find us over at Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere, baby. You can type in Off the Record, a podcast with Ashton, and bring us up and listen to my journey before meeting me here over on YouTube. So with this, I'm so excited. Like I said, I'm a little nervous. This is my first experience, my first venture into doing, filmed content. I've just giving you guys a better look, a closer look at me and my life and my story. So, since the last episode, since episode 10, I did tell you in that episode that I did want to take a little time away. In that time away from this podcast, I really did start having better experiences and greater, closer moments with my family and with friends, and really getting to know more of myself and more of this journey that I'm on. One thing I really enjoyed is, like I said, the time with my family. That time with my family, with my nieces and my nephew and my mom and my sister and my brother, and really my brother, that has been so fulfilling in so many ways. And I really couldn't do that when I was really focusing on the podcast. I think I shut everybody out and just kind of wanted to focus and zone in and protect my energy. But like I said, since the break, I did want to really connect and tap back in with what was important to me, which is family. And I got so many great moments and things with my family this during that break. Me and my mom, we're closer than ever. We have shared so much about each other's journeys with each other, and that's drawn us so much closer. Me and my sister are so good. She don't answer the damn phone all the time. Trust and believe she does not. And it's hard to get that bitch on the phone, okay? If she ever answers. But when she does answer, we're able to share and connect, and that's something that we never did. We never had those moments when I was younger, or even like when we were a little more up in age. We just lived separate lives. But now, in this stage of my life, I've been able to connect with her and really find the good things about each other, and not the petty shit that we used to fight about as kids, and that's been beautiful. And then also going over with her, being more connected to my niece and my nephew, that has been incredible. To be a better uncle, that is something that really warms my heart and makes me know that I want kids someday. One of these damn days I'll meet somebody and have some babies. But right now, being the best uncle is very important to me, and just seeing their faces light up when I come around means so much. And I got that during this break, and so I'm so grateful for that. Also in the break, I did experience a little downsides too. I did have some bumps in the roads with certain friends, certain people in my life, certain issues that I thought I had gotten past. I really hadn't gotten past them. And this time away really helped me deal with that as well. Really being honest about my eating disorder. That's something that has been very hard for me to share and very hard for me to open up about. But now being more open and really calling it for what it is and being more visible about it and being more honest about it helps. It helps to share that. It helps to really be, again, vulnerable. I know I've said it, but to be vulnerable really helps other people, because I didn't know that I was dealing with that really until someone called it out. And I started to really focus and turn inward and say, you know what, maybe I do have an unhealthy eating, unhealthy problem with food and unhealthy problem with eating. Maybe I do. Maybe that is something that has been a big issue for me. And again, being away helped me have the time for that, to really focus in on that. I love the show Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That is one of my favorite shows. And one of the ladies on the show, her name is Crystal Minkoff. She actually opened up this season about her eating disorder. And when she opened up about her eating disorder, it really helped me understand mine, which is very interesting. But that's the power of sharing, right? That's the power of really being open and letting people, see you for all that you are, see your scars, see your hurts, see your wounds, because with those scars, those wounds are lessons. They're great lessons that we can take away and apply to not only our lives, but share with others so they can also get those lessons, because our problems are so much the same than they are different. Crystal is an Asian lady that lives in Beverly Hills. Husband, is a fucking mega director. He's directed The Lion King. She's got her life, but her story and her struggle with her eating is very similar to mine. And we're so connected, even though, again, we live completely polar opposite lives. Then also during the break, it wasn't all bad shit either. I did do a little dating here and there. I did go on a couple dates. They weren't what I thought they were going to be. It didn't turn out to be necessarily love each time, but I learned lessons in those too, learning lessons of not settling, not putting anybody before myself. My needs also have to be met by my partner. It can't just be me meeting their needs all the time, 100%, all over and over and over. It's got to be a little give and take. You've got to fill me up just like I fill you up. So that was cool too. But that was hard because I think in times when, especially me, I'm 27 now, I'm getting closer to 30. I want kids. I want a family. That's important to me. That's something I want to give. But I also have to meet somebody that I feel comfortable sharing that with and that can prove themselves to me. Now, prove themselves to me as in just showing me that they're capable of handling, a family or handling a relationship the right way as far as communication. Communicate with me. Tell me what's going on. I need to know that. That is a very big thing for me. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have good communication skills, but they can communicate when they want some shit, okay? They can say that. But when it's some other stuff about just what I need and what we need to do together, sometimes people drop the ball on that, and that's unfortunate. But every connection is not going to be love. Every connection can't be love. You're going to have to meet people that you don't like, unfortunately, that it doesn't work out, and you move and you shift and you get through them to get to the person that's meant for you, the person that everything feels right, everything feels complete. And sure, you're going to have ups and downs with that too. It's not going to be 100% perfect with that either. That comes with its own share of issues, but you got to find somebody that makes it worth fighting for, that makes it worthwhile. So I haven't found them yet. Now, y'all can slide into my DMs. They are open. They are open for the taking. I am not mad at a good DM. If you want to slide your number, I will take that. A good selfie, I take that. Anything to introduce yourself to me. I'm interested. And I'm open. But, so that's been interesting, too, to really get back into dating, because dating is something I really haven't done a lot of. Being with my whole body image issues and eating disorder and stuff like that, that's blocked a lot of love out of my life too. That's blocked a lot of connection out of my life because I only will allow it to go so far. I've only allowed myself to trust people so far until I feel kind of flighty. Someone actually told me that not too long ago that Gemini, because I'm a Gemini, if you don't know, Gemini's in the house, period. But Gemini, we're very flighty, and we are. We're very flighty. When stuff starts feeling uneasy, when you don't really like the way a situation is going, we pack our shit and we get the hell on. We move on with no issue, and that's not always right. That's not always right, because some things can be worked out, some things can be talked about, some things can be squashed and moved past, but you have to give it the energy. You have to give it the space to grow and to work itself out. Everything isn't supposed to happen overnight. It might be some issues that are bigger than others, but everything is fixable. Most shit is fixable. And I think sometimes in those kind of relationships, you have to allow them to be fixable, because sure, it's easy to say, okay, you didn't do this for me, so I'm out this bitch. Yeah, but then you're just giving it up so easy. You're just throwing in the towel so effortlessly. And where's the fight? Where's the I want you and I don't want to let you go? Even in friendships, that happens in friendships too. You got to fight for the friendship. You got to fight for the love. You got to fight for the respect. And that's been a learning curve as well, learning that I shouldn't have to just leave every situation when it's not pleasurable. Some things you have to stick out and see the greater good, the bigger cause. Everything is not going to happen overnight, and you got to really push for it to be better. If it wants to be, it has to be flexible in the sense that the other person wants it as well. You can't push greatness or push, fixing if they don't want to fix it either. If they don't want to fix it, then fuck it, move on. But that's not, like I said, that's not always the right way to be. So I've learned that a lot this year too. Instead of boxing up my feelings, being a little more open and sharing, and kind of not having, like my mom often says to me, because I have an issue with it, make boundaries, not barriers. That is a very big thing for me. I have a very hard time with that, because for me, a boundary is a barrier in a sense, because you shouldn't be overstepping that fucking line, period. And you don't get no grace on that. But I think now learning, as I've gotten older, Lord, I'm sobbing. Now learning as I've gotten older, boundaries are healthy and boundaries are necessary, but boundaries are really new language for all of us, essentially. Like when I was growing up as a kid, my mom didn't talk to us about boundaries. We didn't have that talk. We didn't share talks about self-worth and self-love, and no slight to her, disrespect to her, because she operated how she operated, but that wasn't a thing. We didn't talk about mental health. That wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And now that we're all learning it and digesting it, you have to have some room for error. You have to have some kind of room there, because I've done good with my boundaries and I've made barriers with those boundaries. And the barriers have hurt other people, and it wasn't intentional, but it was only to protect myself and to help myself. But those boundaries are important. Like I was sharing, the boundaries are very important, and they're very necessary in healthy relationships, because just because somebody's your friend, they're your partner, they love you, doesn't give them the full right or the full access to say or do whatever they want to you. You have, at some point, there's a line that we both can't cross or should not cross if we love and respect each other. We should not cross that boundary. Unfortunately, some people, even with boundaries, they constantly overstep them. So then I think when they overstep those boundaries, then that's when the barriers come in and you just shut them motherfuckers out. Okay? But you just don't make boundaries or barriers with the wrong people. You make them with the right people. You put it there when it's necessary for you and for your own personal health and your own personal progress. Yeah, I like that. But so all this has really come to me from this break, this little small break from the earlier season. This little small break, I've learned so much. I've even gotten to go through a loss of some friendships and moving on past that, and that has been super hard for me, to deal with that, because of how close we were and how connected we were. But unfortunately, as you grow, you learn that everyone can't come on this journey with you. Everyone's not able to get to the destiny that God is taking you. That sometimes is a solo process, a solo journey. And I'm walking that journey, and it's hard. It gets hard sometimes. Being a strong friend, as I am to many of my friends, protecting my friends, loving my friends, being that strong friend comes with it's downsides too. Being that strong friend, I listen, I'm there for my friends. I let them share with me, and I share enough, but I don't always feel that I can trust everyone. I don't feel that safe space is always given to me as I give it to others, being that strong friend. Everyone always looks at the strong friend as the one to keep it all together. We have to keep everything together. We hold everything together. But when I'm not feeling together, who do I go to? Who do I turn to? Who do I rely on when things aren't looking right for me, when things are shaky for me? Being that strong friend. And I think people also need to realize strong friends need strong friends. I need someone to hold me up when I'm feeling low, when I'm feeling down. I can't do that always alone, and I've had to just take a look around my friendships and relationships in my life and take stock, essentially take stock and say, is it someone that I know that if I need it, I can rely on them? And if they weren't, slowly and surely, I started to move away. I started to move away because, again, I need strong people. I need a strong support system on this journey that I'm on. It gets hard. It has its ups. It has its downs. It's not always beautiful. Sure, it always sounds happy and good and go lucky to say, love yourself and find yourself. But in that journey, you're going to uncover some shit you don't like about you. You're going to face some shit you thought you were over and that you really aren't over, that you really haven't come to terms with. So it's not always pretty. That self-worth and all that self-love, that's deep in there somewhere sometimes. There's a lot of shit that life throws at us and throws on us that all that self-worth, that power, it gets stifled sometimes. And we just have to learn to pull ourselves out of it. But in that process of pulling yourself out, it's hard. It's hell. It can be hell. It can be hell. But you have to know that there's a greater life, there's a greater opportunity outside of that. Once you really start to find yourself, everything around you starts to change and starts to look different because you want different. You want change. You want that. You see it as a possibility. Things that you wanted as a kid or things that you saw as a young adult and say, I never could do that. You start to think, maybe I can. Maybe I can do that. Maybe that is achievable because guess what? It is. All of the shit you want, all of the shit you can do is achievable because it's you that controls it. It's you that drives the car, that drives the ship of your life. You control that. You control that. And until you get there, though, it's hell. And again, you face some shit you don't really like about yourself. So in those moments, you do need a strong support system. You do need strong friends. You do need people that are able to really lift you up and pour into you as much as you pour into them. And as this year has gone on, I have really assessed that I really did not have a lot of those people around me. I was the fixer. I was the helper. I was the doer for everybody. But nobody was fixing or helping or doing for me. And it became hard to be that for everybody. And I know I've shared this on some of the previous episodes as well, but it just became hard. It became overwhelming. It became almost smothering that I couldn't even just be me without having to think about everybody else. But it's my life. And I get to control what the fuck I do. I control what I do, where I go, who I do it with. No one gets to tell me what I get to do anymore. And that probably is one of the biggest takeaways I actually learned from this year is you have to be your own main character. You got to be. Because if you're not being your own main character, who are you doing any of this shit for? None of this makes sense if you're doing it for anything other than making yourself happy and living as truthful and honest and your most authentic self. Because that's where the joy is. The joy is being happy with you, loving you. Because once you love you, you can love everybody else. Me loving myself, I'm able to be a better brother, be a better uncle, be a better son, be a better friend. Showing up for friends in completely different ways than I probably was never doing. I thought always being there physically was a good friend, but no, you have got to also be in tune emotionally and spiritually. Spiritual is important too. You got to really share those values that are important to you. And spirituality, sure, I consider myself a Christian, but I'm more spiritual. I believe in God, and I believe that there's energy and all this shit, all that shit, transferable energy, all of it. I believe in all of it. And I think being connected with people who want the same shit, who are on that same level with the energy is important, because we pour into each other, we fuel each other. We have to. That's the only way that the shit is going to make sense. And on this journey, I've learned that I just have picked up a lot of people, unfortunately, that weren't on that same level of where I was trying to go. So in turn, I had to have a lot of real hard life conversations and real honest conversations about growth. And is this really where I want to go, and what I'm trying to do, and where I'm trying to be? And what do I really envision my life looking like? But also looking like and feeling like. And to get to the feeling like, I had to unlearn so many negative and nasty traits and things that just weren't good for the person I was trying to be. I don't know. This year has just been a lot in so many ways, honestly. I've learned so many good things, but like I said, just so many good things. I've learned so many bad things about myself. But the good really outweighs everything else, and I'm happy to be in a way better space. And every day I just want to wake up and do better, be a better human, try to be nice. Sometimes bitches push buttons, and you got to check a hoe sometimes, but you want to be nice. You want to be favorable. You want to treat people the way that you want to be treated. I every day, even the other day, I was just saying I went to Chipotle, okay, and got me a real good bowl, okay, a real good bowl with that good old white rice. And in there, the lady at the cash register, she was so sweet. Like, we kind of had like a small little conversation. She was so nice. And as I walked out, I just was like, thank you so much, and have a great day. And when I was walking to my car, I was just thinking, that is really how I always want to leave people in situations. I want to leave them in kind situations. I don't want to be, a villain. I don't want to be leaving an air of stank when I walk away. I want people to feel good. I want people to feel seen, feel heard, feel understood. Because that's what makes us all happy. That's what makes life go around. The more positivity we put out there, the more we get back, baby. And I'm reaping what I'm sowing, for sure. I got good people around me. I have a family that loves me, and I love my family. And that in itself has been a bumpy road, but I already am going to have them on the podcast. We have discussed this, so y'all will hear a little bit more about my family life coming up, because it's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit that then went on. It's a lot of shit that didn't happen. But it's good, because we needed that to get to where we are. But I love my family. I love my friends. I'm just so thankful that God has really pushed me to get to a better place, mentally, physically, emotionally, where I'm comfortable and confident as myself. So I really definitely, as I keep saying, this is a podcast not just for me, but for all of us. I want everyone listening and watching to walk away with that good self-love and knowing that you can conquer or accomplish anything that you set your mind to. That is truly, truly the way of the universe. The more you give, the more good you give, the more good you get back. And you have to pour it into yourself first and foremost, though. You got to make sure you tell yourself you're worthy. You got to make sure you tell yourself that you are enough, because you are enough as you are. You shouldn't have to change. Now, some shit we got to change, but you shouldn't have to completely change your character of who you are to please anybody, because you are enough. Just showing up in a room, you bring a different energy, a different vibe, a different vibration to the space. And that can't be accomplished without you. That can't be done without you. You bring your own sauce. So know that you are enough, and no one should ever be able to tell you what you can and can't do, because, bitch, you are you, and you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, okay? You see me here. I am here filming this podcast. Like, who would have ever thought that Ashton, small little Ashton from Paris, Texas, would be doing this, really taking a chance and believing in himself? But it's because I love myself enough to give myself that push. I believe in myself enough to know that I have a gift. I have a calling over my life to share, to grow, to get to know. And I really, that's really my ultimate goal here. I want everyone to be their best and most authentic version, because once we always talk about we want a better world, but we have to create the better world we want to see, that we want to exist. And the way to do that is by showing people kindness, by showing people empathy. Again, the vulnerability, sharing, opening up to connect to people. People love and will respect and will confide in you enough if they feel that you're solid, that you're trustworthy. And I think we all can be that for each other. We're a community. We're all in this shit together, you know, sometimes bitches like to do their own thing. Like me, I do my own thing sometimes, but for the most part, the collective, I want us all to be together. That is exactly what it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be, and how I want it to be. So around me, all of us, we're good. We're connected. We're locked in with each other. But I hope all of this transfers back to you, and you take it and put it upon your life, and you do things the way that you want to do. So let me move on. So my whole life, though, like I was saying a little earlier, my whole life, I really essentially allowed everybody to make my decisions for me. My whole life. Think about that. I'm 27. Until this year, I really didn't start my first journey or bout with self-love, self-worth, self-preservation until this year. This is my very first year of really completely depending and relying on myself. And I think I've turned it out beautifully. I think this shit is fantabulous. And so since I have it, I want to share it back with you guys. So again, this is just a start to a very, very, very beautiful relationship over here on Off the Record. Again, if you're new, please subscribe, share, love us, shout out, drop some good things in the comments, some encouraging words. Maybe someone else will scroll by and look at that shit and get some good motivation. But also just keep connected with us. We're everywhere on all socials. You can check us out on Instagram, the Off the Record Pod, so OFFTHE Record RECORD Pod. I'm now I didn't spell the whole damn thing for you, so you don't need me to spell it again. That on Instagram. Follow us there. Please follow us there. I want to get my followers up. Okay. We're gonna start posting on TikTok. Start doing all that for sure. My Instagram is Hostetics, HOSTHETICS. Okay, I had to think about that for a little bit. I ain't gonna motherfucking lie. I had to think about that. But stay connected with me there. On Twitter, it's the same, Hostetics. I just want to tap in with all you guys. And again, this is my first venture. I'm so excited. This is the first episode back. Oh, y'all don't even know the half of it, bitch. I was nervous. We didn't have to redo this. But this is just been a great experience. And like I said, this is just one of many. And I'm so excited. I did get a little Moet in this bitch to celebrate the very, 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 very first episode on YouTube. And we're going to pop this bitch and do a toast together. Now, look, we should have had this already taken off, but we're going to take this bitch off real quick. Ooh. Let's see. Let's get this bitch taken off, honey. And we're going to pop this motherfucker in celebration of Off the Record coming over to YouTube. And the new season. Just excited about all of it, okay? All right. Okay, now I hope this motherfucking thing don't spray everywhere, because I don't know what this bitch about to do. I don't know what this motherfucker about to do, but I just want to say cheers to everyone taking this journey with us. I hope you literally fall in love with me, but in turn, me fall in love with you, and we just grow and continue to share together and just take this bitch wherever the fuck we want to. I'm so scared. Woo! It got all over my computer, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. I got every fucking way. But cheers to the new season of Off the Record, baby. If this is any indication of what the fuck is about to come, then it's going to be some wild ass shit over here. So cheers, everybody. Get your drinks. All right. Thank you, guys. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.